Oh, my eyes. Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as Erik ten Hag's frustration with Martial becomes public. Also, he discusses Antony and what he wants more about for him. Big talk about Marcus Rashford from Erik ten Hag as well as the latest transfer news revolving around the strikers and an amazing set of players that Erik ten Hag is looking to bring in this summer transfer window as the striker situation does become a bit of a crisis. Even Wout Weghorst has been spoken about what he needs to do to earn a new deal at Manchester United, which is what he wants to do, and why he might not be able to get one if things continue the way they are. So lots to get into on the show this morning. I'm trying to think about where to start. Where I will start is by saying that if you are a member, it is live on the community tab now. You can get your tickets for the United Stand tour. Remember, members are going to get it for 48 hours before it goes, the link and everything goes out completely public. So if you are a member, check out the community tab. Those 3 dates, Dublin, Manchester and London, you can get your tickets now. They are for sale for members at the moment. So if you are a member, check that out. I'll drop the link in a bit. But let's fly straight into the show this morning. And where should we start? I think we'll start off with, you know what, I suppose the context to this is quite interesting. This is just, I want to talk about the striker situation. Fabrizio Romano has been talking about a striker that we're looking at. Sky Sports have also given a shortlist of the players that Erik ten Hag is looking at. I mean, what I would say is look at the thumbnail. Could it be more than one striker that Manchester United look at this summer? Because when you listen to what Erik ten Hag had to say about Martial constantly being injured, you should be able to see it on the screen here. He is not consistently injured. He's playing games, so he has to work on that. In the fact that I agree, he has to be more available. He can't do nothing for it in the sense it's sometimes also bad luck. It goes on to say, but sometimes you don't know also really the cause, this unavailability. What's the reason behind it is. But when he is there, he's really important for us because we play our best football when he's available. He has to be aware of that as well. If we want to be successful, we need him. And the first thing is he has to be available. I think that's really, really interesting from Ten Hag. It's a politician's game that he's played there. He's basically saying that it's not the player's fault that he's injured, but then he's saying, you know, sometimes I don't know what the cause of it is or why he's not available, but he needs to know we're a better team with him in it. Is patience wearing thin with Anthony Martial? 100%. I'd say patience is wearing thin from Anthony Martial as well. But you know, it's interesting that that he isn't. Sorry, I've just got to send a message here. Very rude of me, but it's quite important. We're not getting anyone else, Mark. Why do we get infiltrated by Pratt at the start of the show? What are you talking about, George? We're not getting anybody else. Engage your brain and wake up. Did I say we're signing a striker next week, tomorrow? I'm talking about the summer. That's why it says the summer. That's why I said the summer at the start. That's why we're talking about Anthony Martial and his long-term future. And that's why we're talking about an exciting list that Erik ten Hag is looking at that has been evidenced by Fabrizio Romano and Sky, and that is why it's a morning show. For God's sake, don't comment. You know, sometimes, what was it Ronan Keating sang? You say it best when you say nothing at all, because you just ruin it for everybody else with a Pratt comment. Right, let's get back into what we're talking about. So this Anthony Martial thing is quite interesting because, I mean, basically what it's saying is that I really need this player. He's valuable to me. But he's not always available, which is a problem. He can't help that if it's injury, but we don't always know why that is. Now, what's your perception of that? Do you think that that's Ten Hag, you know, sort of saying to Martial, you need to be fit more? I mean, one thing I would say here is, and I don't know, I don't have any information on this, so I don't know what's going on. Martial's been injured 4 or 5 times in 5 months. He's averaging an injury a month. Bruno Fernandes has not had one injury. So there is an issue there. Whether it's, you know, Martial's physical makeup or mental makeup, I don't know. But there is an issue there. Bought my ticket for London, says Robert. Can't wait to meet you, mate. So it is interesting in that aspect. There was a player once upon a time who used to play for Liverpool, and his name was Daniel Sturridge. And Liverpool fans used to say if he got a paper cut, he was out for a month. Or if he woke up in the morning and he banged his leg, he was out for a year. You know, it's like, I don't know whether Ten Hag is subtly saying, you know, there might be an issue there with Martial, or he's just trying to encourage him to get back. But the interesting flip side to that is that Martial was desperate to play in the Manchester derby and then had to come off at half time. I don't know. Maybe he's just a player. Maybe I know about the Dublin thing. That's why I was sending the message. So apologies. I'm trying to sort it out while we're live. That was literally why I had to rudely do a text. So I'm fully aware of the Dublin thing. And I'll tell you when it's updated. But yeah, no, so look, Martial, interesting. I wouldn't say shots fired, far from it, but I think it is a bit of a public statement to the club that Martial's really important to me, but he's never fit. And we can't get him fit. So what am I supposed to do? Because it must be massively frustrating. It must be massively frustrating for Martial, but it must be massively frustrating for Ten Hag to know that he's got a player that makes his team play better, but he can't pick him for most of the season. And I'd love somebody to do a percentage for us while we're live and let us know the percentage of Premier League games that Anthony Martial has missed so far. Because I tell you what, I bet it's well over 60%, well over. Anyway, look, let's talk about a little bit of transfer news here. This is an amazing short list of players that we're looking at, and I'm sure we are looking at these players. It's just whether it goes any higher than that. But this is from Melissa Reddy, who is Sky Sports, saying that United have also put in work as their priority is to sign a striker. The context to this is that Manchester United's priority is to sign a striker. Manchester United have put in work on Osman Sesko, who's joining Leipzig in the summer from Salzburg, and Ajax's Kudos. Added into that, Fabrizio Romano has said that Ramos of Benfica is also on Manchester United's hit list. I suppose in some ways this is good news because it means that Manchester United have a lot of options in the summer. And let's not forget, Harry Kane. Harry Kane is still going to be an option. Whether you like that option or not, he'll still be an option. So Sesko, Osman, Ramos, Kudos and Harry Kane. 5 big options there. Kudos is not a striker though, says Zero Blade. Yeah, but as we know with Erik Ten Hag, he was trying to sign Gakpo and that would have been a forward. So look, Ten Hag, maybe do your homework on him. He's not static as a manager. He doesn't buy square pegs for square holes. He will try different things in different situations. His priority forward was Gakpo. He's ended up with Weghorst. Now, Weghorst is definitely a number 9. Gakpo isn't really a number 9. So what was he going to do there? I don't know. But no, I mean, obviously, look, you wake up this morning and everyone's talking about a full sale and you go, yeah, we did that last night. We've got our finger on the pulse. I saw people talking about Osman being too expensive yesterday. We did it about 3 days ago. So, sometimes, the news is so slow and then it becomes, people are so slow at delivering it that they're talking about it. And you're like, oh, is that a new Peter story? No, it's not. That's something we've already spoken about. So I know yesterday people were talking about Osman being too expensive. I think we did the video late last week about the 120 million price tag. But this feeds into the sale anyway. Obviously, John Murtagh and Richard Arnold will probably say to Ten Hag, you're not having Osman because we're not spending more than £100 million on him. But if you get new owners in, there might be a completely different attitude. I like Osman. I think Osman, I wouldn't even bother doing a poll. I think most of us would say Osman would be our number 1 choice between Kane and Sesko and Kudos and Ramos. I think Osman would be the number 1 choice. But I would take on board that Napoli are very difficult to deal with. He's under quite a long contract. He is going to be north of £100 million. It's funny that United think they can spend 85 million on Anthony, but then going over 100 million for a striker that scored goals in 2 leagues and looks fantastic is too much. I think if you want a top striker, you've got to spend that amount of money. And I wouldn't rule it out. I find it funny when you get stories saying that, United are out of the Osman race in the middle of January or the end of January when we haven't even got new owners yet. And we're still failing in a January transfer window and we're, dismissing players for a summer transfer window. I think Osman suits Manchester United like a glove, but I think he'd suit Chelsea as well. So you've got to look at other options. And it's good that we're looking at other options. And I think, Sesko is an interesting one. Mark, as Arsenal winning the league and United getting top 4, do you see Arsenal in the Champions League final next year? No, I don't even think about Arsenal, mate, in the Champions League. Hi Mark, how can we get a list of amazing players in when Arnold said we have no funds in this dependent on a summer sale of the club? I'm leading into that, Edward. Love the show, thank you. I don't know, Mark. Osman got a Chelsea feel to him. Definitely agree with that, Connor. I can't make the event go. Gifted memberships instead, says Glenny Boy. And great summer names. Sounds like Ten Hag likes Osman over Vlahovic. I'd like Patson Daka from Leicester in January if they stay bottom half, says Axel. And actually, sorry, I missed that there. There are 5 gifted memberships from Glenny Boy there. Legend Glenny Boy, thank you very much for that. Remember, if you are a member, it's on the community tab now for tickets. If you want to start getting your tickets, get your tickets. I don't think the Dublin link's there yet, but we will make sure we get that Dublin link up for the members today because it's not going out public until Friday anyway, so you'll definitely get it. Rob Newman, welcome to the members club. So yeah, look, I think that personally, one thing I wanted to say is, instead of saying, do you want Osman, I'm not going to start saying, we're getting Osman, we're getting this, we're getting that. I think the interesting thing is this morning is the shortlist of players. Just to give us a bit of a think. Osman, Sesko, Ramos, Kudos, and probably Harry Kane. You've got to add him into that, I think, to be honest, as well. There may be others added to that. But when I think about that, one thing occurred to me. Osman, right? Going to cost you over £100 million. Harry Kane, going to cost you around 80 million quid. Ramos from Benfica, going to cost you around 80, 90 million quid. Sesko and Kudos, probably going to cost you the same as what it's going to cost you for Harry Kane or Osman. Is it an option that Man United might look or should look at getting 2 in? Because I'm thinking this morning, Ramos is not ancient, blind pink. I think you're thinking of somebody completely different. In fact, you're thinking about the centre-back. We're talking about the striker who scored the hat-trick for Portugal in the World Cup. He was in his early 20s, I think. I think that the reason I wanted to start off with that Martial story, because the reason I wanted to ask you, would you go for... Well, let's do a poll on this. I think this is more interesting. Either or. Yeah, either or. I'm talking to myself as a type. Either or. This summer... 100 million striker is one option. So Osman, Kane, Ramos, or a Sesko and Kudos for same price. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Because I think there's value in... I want Osman. That's my number one at this moment in time. That can change, but Osman would be my number one. But with Martial... If he cannot stay... I mean, look, we've got 4 months left of the season. 4 and a bit months left of the season. If it goes like it has done, why would I want to just buy Osman for next season? You send Weghorst back because he's probably not going to be good enough. You've got Osman and Martial. Martial's never fit, so Osman's playing 3 games a week. I think we need to solve the striker issue that... If Weghorst isn't good enough, and let's be honest, he's probably not going to be unless we get lucky, because it doesn't make sense that he's a Man United striker that's going to be able to play every week. He's, the level he's at, I think, is a Burnley or an Everton or something like that. But very welcome at the club, and I want him to do well. But I don't think he's a future prospect. So Weghorst leaves, Osman comes in, or Kane comes in. Martial's the backup. He's still injured all the time. You're just left with one striker. There's too much work. There's too much work, isn't there? So I think there is value in... I think everyone's talking about one striker in the summer and big spend and everything like that, but it doesn't necessarily solve our problems. Just go back to the original story that we've been talking about for weeks. Cavani hasn't been replaced, and Ronaldo hasn't been replaced. Well, they have with Weghorst, and you could argue that we're getting to the point where maybe Martial needs to be replaced. And I love Martial, but I would never replace Martial for ability. I know some people would do that. I wouldn't do that. I'm looking at his injury record now and I'm going, you know what? It's becoming a problem. Like, it's a real problem. Bellingham for 100 million should be the priority, says Julian. I don't think Bellingham is going to go for 100 million. I think he'll go for a lot more than that. But I'm not 100% sure on that as well. You know what? There was, I think Melissa Reddy mentioned it, and I think it was Alex Crook Talk Sport mentioned it because I quote tweeted it last night. This is still a backdrop that I want to talk about. Very important for the morning show as well, because it's still a backdrop that Manchester United are still allowing it to be out there, wherever it's coming from. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, but it's still out there again. If United want to buy players in the summer, they're very wary of financial fair play, so they're going to have to sell well and get Champions League football. This irritates me to the back of my teeth. It's so frustrating to keep hearing that even with a new owner, United will have to get creative in the transfer market in the summer because of financial fair play, and they'll need to sell and they'll need to get Champions League football. So what we're saying is, if we can't sell players like we normally can't, and we don't get Champions League football, we've got no money in the summer as well, even with new owners. Is that the story that's trying to be put out here? Because it's a nonsense. It's a complete and utter nonsense. It's a nonsense because look at what Chelsea are doing. Chelsea are spending hundreds of millions of pounds and are continuing to do that. But we as United fans are meant to go, oh, we spent £200 million last summer, so that's it. We've got nothing for next summer. We've got nothing for now. This, Sir Jim Radcliffe and everyone else needs to listen to this. Don't fall for this shite about we need Champions League football, we've got to sell well, and because financial fair play is a problem. If financial fair play is a problem for Manchester United, your CEO and your director of football are a problem for Manchester United, and whoever's in charge of the budgets, because that's just bad at your job. Because look at what Chelsea are doing. Chelsea are staggering deals over a number of years, and they're acting responsibly so they can bring more players in. United's transfer policy, if we're out of money, if we've hit the limits and we need to sell to buy, you could only describe United's transfer policy of the last couple of years as a kid in a sweet shop. There's your pocket money and they've blown the lot. There's no future planning. There's no structure around what you're doing. It's just spend the lot on anything. Oh, there's a 10p bag of crisps. I'll give you a fiver. If I was Man United, I would be absolutely trying to shut this story down, because the story is aimed at idiots who will not, even the idiots won't believe it. Basically, I believe that this story is, I've heard it 3 times now in the last couple of weeks. United need Champions League football and they need to sell well, and then they've still got to be careful about financial fair play in the summer, not now, even if they get new owners. And I'm like, I suppose that story is meant to make us be realistic about the future and the fact that there might not be a lot of money to spend in the summer. But that will immediately make United fans go, why? Why are we in that position? And then when you figure out the why, we're in that position because of the people running the football club badly have completely screwed us. If we need to sell to buy in the summer, and we need Champions League football, which at the end of the day, revenue from Champions League football compared to Europa League football is somewhere between 40 and 90 million. It's not a massive amount of money. If we're dependent on that 40 to 90 million and sales to be able to buy because of financial fair play, it's not just the... I want to hold on to this. We're in debt and the Glazers are terrible at running the club. But being in danger of falling foul of financial fair play actually is a contradiction to the Glazers, because that means we've spent too much money badly. Which everyone says, well, the Glazers don't want to spend money. They do. They have spent money. The problem with the Glazers is not just about spending money. So if I was United, I'd shut that story down. I wouldn't want it out there that we need to sell to buy and we need Champions League football, because it exposes how badly the club has been run if we've used up our financial fair play limits because we've been idiots, overspending, overpaying on wages and bad structuring of deals. If we're in trouble because of financial fair play, then we're a joke. Because you look at Chelsea, buy. And I know they're in a little bit of a different situation, but they're still going to buy. Next summer they'll buy. Next January they'll buy. Next summer they're going to keep doing it. Because they've structured the club and the deal and the wages and everything in a way that they can do that. United, God knows what we've been doing. Charlie says, we can target strikers all day and night, but without suitable cover for Casemiro, we will see the same problem over the season. A new CDM is as important as a striker, if not more, says Charlie. Well, I'm really looking forward to the game tonight. Really looking forward to the game tonight, because I think it's going to be a real battle. And again, we do need to rotate a bit. So, yeah, interesting point by Charlie. James says, personally, I think we need an out-and-out number 9 and a more versatile forward. Do you think Felix might return to Athletic after his loan? Well, we should have got him, James. I'd have loved it. George says, hi, Mark. Did not realise you was talking about the summer market earlier. Love the channel and keep up the good work. Sorry, George. I haven't had my coffee as well, so... let's just high-five virtually and move on. UEFA said we'll cut that staggered contract loophole that Chelsea took advantage of from next summer to maximum of 5 years, says Robert. But you know what? They're saying to Chelsea fanel, and Robert makes a good point. So all these deals that Chelsea are doing, and it's not just buying players, they're offering current players, for example, Mason Mount, 8-year deals to spread out the cost. So Chelsea have been quite clever about that, and it's a loophole. I've got no problem with with clubs being creative. It's not cheating, it's creative. So Chelsea buy Mudryk over 8 years and spread the cost over 8 years. It's costing you 10 million a year for a £100 million player because you're spreading it out over nearly 10 years. It's very clever because it means you can go and do that again with another player and another player and another player. Now, Chelsea get a load of shit for that, but actually if United did it, we'd be applauding it, say, oh, that's great. But we'd never think about that. Having said that, loads of people have complained about Chelsea, and Robert's right, they want the rule stopped. Tell me the contract we gave to Harry Maguire. It was 6 years plus 1. So we're already hypocrites anyway because we did it. We figured it out by accident though, because we've never done it again. We did it with Harry Maguire. We gave him a 6 year plus 1. Now look, you never should give Harry Maguire a 6 plus 1, but I was thinking about it last week and I thought maybe we did it because we were ahead of the game of what Chelsea's done, but we've never done it again. So we didn't even do the Maguire deal because we were being clever, because we never did it again. We just thought he was a 6 year contract player. Alex, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, look, just talking about strikers, very interesting. And, you know, I want to be topical. I want to bring in what's said. Obviously, we've still got to talk about what Ten Hag has said about Anthony. But this is really interesting from Weghorst because he wants a new deal at Manchester United. Now, I've got no problem with that at all. Of course you would want that. Of course you would. 1 minute. This Dublin thing's getting on my nerves. The things people expect me to be able to do when I'm actually live doing it. So let's have a look at this Weghorst thing. So with Weghorst, he wants a new deal at Manchester United, right? We all know that. I've got no problem with that. Some people, it will ruin their morning. For me, it doesn't ruin my morning because ultimately, what's the point in being at Man United if you're not ambitious? So in the end, it's very simple. As a striker, you're judged by goals. Ten Hag indicated that attacking reinforcements were desirable. A striker, a number 9, and then it's simple. The best plays. I have to force it to make minutes. And you know, I like Weghorst. I think he's a likable guy, and I think he speaks a lot of sense in the sense that you know he wants to stay at Manchester United. I spoke about this yesterday. We spoke about this yesterday. Whether he's going to be good enough at Manchester United or not, the reality is he will be judged, as he quite rightly says, on goals. And he's played 2 games and he's scored no goals. But in those 2 games, he's had 0 chances created for him. So I think that you know his whole success at Manchester United will come down to how many goals he scores. Now, he is capable of scoring goals. Is he capable of being a Man United striker? That's what it will come down to. So, look, I hope he scores tonight. You know, we can't rely on Anthony Martial and we're over-reliant on Marcus Rashford. I mean, I was thinking about this. Where are the goals coming from for Manchester United at the moment in time? They're coming from Marcus Rashford. Predominantly, they're coming from him, which is dangerous. Look, Marcus Rashford's a fantastic player. He's doing fantastic things for Manchester United at the moment, but it's a dangerous thing for us when, you know, you've got a player who we are so reliant on in the attack. Do I think Weghorst will end up staying at Manchester United? I don't know, is the honest answer, but he does need to score goals. And I think he will surprise people. If we start putting balls in the box, he'll start scoring goals. His goals to game ratio, I mean, Burnley didn't work out. I don't think he suited Burnley. But his goals to game ratio everywhere else is quite good. There is an outside chance he could end up staying at Man United as a sort of supplementary striker. Welcome to United Stand Members Club, Philip Dunn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Let's just have a quick look at the poll because I'm going to close it. Would you go for a 100 million striker like Osimhen, Kane or Ramos, or would you go for a Sesko and Kudos and get 2 for 1? 64% of you would go for a 2 for 1. Interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff. Right, I want to talk about what Ten Hag said about Anthony. I'm sure you're going to find that very interesting. But look, the striker situation will develop, of course it will, and we will be able to take it from there. Right, I'm just going to double check on the community tab that it works now. Let me have a quick look. Yes. Okay. If you remember, they're out for pre-sale. The United Stand tour on the community tab. Click it. Dublin's there now. So Dublin, London, and Manchester tickets are available for the members. They'll be out. They'll be widespread available from Friday, but they are available for the members now in the members on the community tab for the members. So check it out. Dublin is there now. Right. Let's go back to what Ten Hag had to say about Anthony. Interesting what he said. I liked it. I liked it a lot. This is what he had to say about Anthony. He can do better. My manager. He can do better. Welcome to Members Club, Kazim and Philip. And could Martial benefit from a fitness break like Sancho next season, says Dan. I mean, I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that. But, you know, it's interesting because Martial, I get what you're saying about Martial having a break. What was the World Cup? Martial had 6 weeks. Didn't play before the World Cup. I think he got fit just before we broke for the World Cup, so the start of November, and then he didn't play a game until December the 27th. So he's had that break, and then he still gets injured again. If I was look, Ten Hag hasn't got any hair, but you'd be pulling your hair out. And Terp said it was 6 weeks of still not getting injuries. I don't know whether you saw the video we did with Ben Foster on Monday. But he said, what was it Ben Foster said? The vast majority of injuries happen in game. They don't happen on the training ground. You get more injuries in games. So most players do tend to stay fit when they're just training compared to playing. But I don't know what the answer is for Anthony Martial. I don't think Ten Hag does as well. But anyway, let me just talk about Anthony. So this is from Eric Ten Hag on Anthony. He can do better. I see space for improvement, for instance, and I think also you know this, we want him to be more direct and being more involved. But as I said, the team is performing better if he is on the pitch. So I mean, look, that's clever management there. That is very clever management. And I always get a little, well, you know, I do get a smile on my face when Ten Hag says things like that, because I remember saying it about Martial a few weeks ago. He was getting pelters on a watch along. G-Man says you can't just dump players going through an injury, something morally wrong there. You can't dump them because no one will buy them anyway, G-Man. But on that logic, would you... I mean, look at Phil Jones. Gave him a 5-year contract, spent most of it injured. I think it gets to a point where a player... He's 27 as well. He's 27, Martial. There has to be a solution. I think that's what Ten Hag's saying, G-Man. There has to be a solution. He wants him to play. I want him to play. We're better when he plays, but he can't rely on him. And they've got to get to the bottom of that. I mean, Martial wanted to leave Man United. He comes back in the summer. Ten Hag basically gives him a lease of life and says, you're my starting number 9. He then wants to stay. He's got the confidence of the manager, the admiration of the manager, the trust of the manager, and then he can't bloody stay fit. Martial's just one big conundrum. You know, he's either not in the team and people think he should be in the team and then he wants to leave, or he's the starting number 9 and he can't stay fit. It's so frustrating. And I'm a fan of Martial. But going back to Anthony, I remember doing a watch along and people were having a pop at Martial, and I said, the thing about Martial is he might not be scoring, and people might not be seeing what he's doing, but the way he leads the press from the front, the link-up play, the runs he makes off the ball to create spaces for others is so important. In that very game match reaction press conference, Ten Hag said all those words. So it's nice to be in tune with the manager when you're analysing a game of football, and it will be nice for a lot of you when you've heard what he said there about Anthony, because we know he's going to back Anthony. He spent a lot of money on him. He knows him from Ajax and he wants him to be a success. But he's still saying there needs to be improvement, that they want him to be more direct. Well, we've had this chat on many a watch along, on many a show over the last couple of weeks with Anthony. He needs to be more direct. You know, we want him to be more direct. We want him to, there are levels to go through. So, but it's interesting that Ten Hag says we're a better team with him in it. Well, that's perception. Some people will think we're better with Garnacho and Anthony on the bench. In a few weeks, people might say we're better with Sancho in. But the reason that Ten Hag thinks United are better with Anthony in the team is balance. Anthony's the only left-footed wide player we've got, and that brings balance. It's the same reason he used Luke Shaw at left centre-back when Martinez was injured, instead of using Maguire and Lindelof, because Luke Shaw is left-footed and it balances the team. Hi Mark, what are your top 5 priority signings for the summer window in terms of on-field position and what order, says Patrick. I can do that one for you, Patrick. If you could sign any player in January, who would you sign, says Dead Zone. I think we've already missed out. It would have been João Felix for me. And is Delo important for Anthony's adapting into the teams, you reckon, says Axel? Yeah, look, I'll come back to that one in a minute. But look, on my 5 priorities for Manchester United, I would have to say that realistically, my priority positions would be striker, CDM, centre-back, right-back, and probably an attacking midfielder. That would be my top 5. We need a striker, 100%. We're too short. We need a CDM, 100%, because we've only got Casemiro, and we could play 2 anyway. We need a centre-back because Luke Shaw's our best backup centre-back, so we need another centre-back. We do need a right-back. I think Wan-Bissaka will need to go at some point. And then I think we need to go back to the number 10 position because we're too reliant on Bruno as well. So that would be it. I wouldn't mind bringing in a young goalkeeper, Imperial X, but I don't see goalkeeper as a priority. I mean, I saw some people today saying that David De Gea needs to be dropped. I mean, that agenda's just so funny. It's hilarious. But, you know, let it's an opinion. Let them have it. Let them have it. It's up to them, of course. There was an update on Twan Sebi I wanted to bring you as well. Don't know whether I've got it. Oh, here we go. Just if you're interested, this was from Ten Hag. Twan Sebi, it's a long time he was not available for matches on training. Individual rehab is really hard for him. You can understand it. It takes time. Back in training as well and in team training. Then you have to build up, so it will take weeks. He's out of contract in the summer, Axel Twan Sebi. So, we'd be crazy, really, to give him a contract. Liam's got his Dublin ticket, and so has Mark Turner. Thanks, can't wait, looking forward to it, very, very excited. Check it out on the community tab if you're a member. You've got an early drop on access to the tickets for the tour on the community tab, and the Dublin link is there now. I just wanted to say this, by the way. Remember I said yesterday about how I can't remember, I got sent something about the United stand being negative and toxic, yeah. And I said, well, can I have some evidence? And we spoke about it yesterday, so I'm not going to go on it. Because we're not toxic and we're not negative. We're actually very positive. And I think what's actually happened now is that being positive is now being classed as the new negative because people want to have a moan. I got sent something last night and I did tweet about it. There was some prat had done a compilation of people's reactions to the Arsenal winner. And then they basically, I think they tweeted saying, These fans are scum. They don't represent us. And I was in the top left-hand corner, going like banging my chair when Arsenal scored. And I mean, this out of context. It happens all the time. But I was like, hold on a minute. What's the problem with banging your chair when your team that you think deserves a draw concedes a late goal? Like, I'd literally just said before that, I think we've done enough here. It'd be gutting if they didn't get the draw. And then it went in and I banged my chair. And I just want to say this because I think we've got a very good community. And I think we're a very positive, constructive community. There is toxicity in this fan base. And it's the people who are hunting people down like that. It's the people that are trying to send hate to our community and others for no reason other than they've got a horrible life in their head. I think they need calling out. The only toxicity in this fan base at the moment is these people generating fake toxicity by clipping people up and pretending that the United stand is negative or anything like that. I had it about Wan-Bissaka yesterday. Oh, Goldbridge has got an agenda against Wan-Bissaka because they took a little few seconds again. And you know what it was? It was yesterday when I said Wan-Bissaka's not the solution at right back. He's a good defensive right back, but he's not very good on the back post and he doesn't go forward well. I like Wan-Bissaka. I was saying in the summer I like Wan-Bissaka. I think he's a good footballer, but he's not as good as Delo, and I don't think he's a long-term solution for Ten Hag. I wouldn't move him on in January. I'd be looking at doing something in the summer. How the hell is that anti-Aaron Wan-Bissaka? He's been fantastic for us for the last month. He's cost us 2 goals in 2 weeks. He was number 2 in the chart show last week. So, you know, I just think be wary. I know we've got a very communicative and debate-worthy community, and we do debate things, but just be wary of these people who profess to be super Reds and actually spend most of their time slagging off David De Gea and clipping up and slagging off fans and trying to make out that they're the Mr. Positives or Mrs. Positives and everyone else is negative. We are not negative. The only thing we are negative about is the owners and the recruitment and why this manager and this team that's doing so well is not being backed. There is no negativity. I don't see it. I can't evidence it. And these people who are slagging us off and other people getting slagged off as well, they're the problem. Because you know what it is? They wake up in the morning and they're just bitter, jealous people who are frustrated that nobody wants to listen to them unless they slag somebody popular off, because then they get the interaction off that community. So I'm not feeding trolls in any sense of the word. I'm just calling them out. They're the negative people, not us. I can't see anything negative that you or I are saying. We don't. We're very positive about where Man United are. I think the transfer window is a bloody disgrace. And I want the Glazers gone so we can get some new owners in. But I've got an agenda against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think you'll consistently find that I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's the same with Anthony Elanga. I think he needs to go on loan. I don't think he's good enough, but I've always said I like Anthony Elanga, and I don't really slag him off. He doesn't do anything when he comes on, but I think that's a developmental thing. So, you know, look, I think Wan-Bissaka's done a good job for Manchester United. Can you say hi to my dad, Darren, says Papa Green. Hi, Dad. And but no, I like Wan-Bissaka. I think he's limited. I think he's invaluable. The low hasn't played, and Wan-Bissaka has made that right-hand side pretty stable. Pretty stable. I mean, look, he can't defend the back post. I don't think he ever will be able to defend the back post, and he can't do the inverted fullback role. But he's a steady right back who's done really well for us, and I'm more than happy for him to be playing at the moment. I don't see it as a weakness. I think it's a weakness against decent teams like Arsenal and Man City who know how to figure him out, but I don't think it's, I mean, look, this could be famous last words, but I don't think it's something Nottingham Forest are going to be able to exploit. I don't think they're going to be able to work situations to pull Wan-Bissaka into the post and then exploit the back post. I might be wrong, but certainly Man City and Arsenal know how to do it. See you in Dublin, Mark. Don't forget to visit Wexford when you're over. I've been to Wexford, great. I think I've been to Wexford. Is that the one where you've got the crossroads in the middle and there's pubs on each one? Or is that might be Waterford? I don't know. My name is Mac, not Amanda, and when you come to Dublin, I'll sort you out with a nice meal and some drinks after the show, mate. Cheers, pal. And exactly, defend our community on Twitter because those prats don't know what they're on about. Love this community, can't wait for the US tour, says Osvaldo. Well, you know, I think things have come full circle, haven't they? There was a time when, as a community, we spent a lot of time moaning about the Solskjaer days, the Moyes days, etc. But I won't have it. I won't have it. I don't detect any negativity or anything like that. And I think it's just laziness from bitter people. Hi, Mark. Just got my tickets for your Manchester event. Hype for it, dude. What are your thoughts on tonight's game? Any signing before deadline day? Tom makes a really good point, you know. I mean, when it comes to deadline day, the transfer window is closed a week today. Closed last night, a week last night. We're normally... Charlie, it's not toxic, it's all love, exactly. We're doing really well as a club. We'd normally be a lot more excited about transfer deadline day for Man United. And, you know, we normally do, like, transfer deadline day stream. And at the moment, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I don't know whether we will or not. People keep asking me, and I'm like, I just don't know, because it might be an interesting final day for Manchester United. But on the other hand, it might be a complete and utter waste of time. We're not hearing anything. It's like Bath said, we've got 6 days left of this transfer window. There is a feeling that Manchester United might do something, but I don't know. I just don't know. And what would it be? I mean, maybe Fabrizio's right. Maybe it's the final hours of the final day that will get interesting as people get desperate. But I wouldn't rule it out. But I don't feel particularly excited about it at the moment because there doesn't seem to be a massive amount of news around it. As for the game tonight, I'm really excited about the game tonight. I think it's a tough. I think even in the Premier League with our strongest team, it would be tough because they've got a good home record. It's quite a vibrant ground at the moment. You know, they're loving being promoted. bit like, Brentford were when they got promoted last year. And we're probably going to rotate a bit. So, and also we're very tired in the second half. So I think it's an intriguing game. I saw Newcastle get over the line at Southampton. I think Newcastle will be in the final. That'd be a very good final if it's Man United Newcastle. But we've got to get there first. I'd be stunned if we don't get there. But this will be the more difficult game of the two because it's at their place. There's probably going to be a bit of rotation, and we're vulnerable in the second half against anybody at the moment. If you've got a team that's well rested or not played as much football as us, which is basically everybody. I don't think Forest played midweek last week, did they? I know they played at the weekend. Everybody seems to have a little bit more energy than us. Mark, can we have virtual live tickets because MUTV cannot show live matches due to broadcasting rights? Only way is breakaway league, like the Super League, says Sean. We could hijack the McKennie deal, says Haddy. Come to South Africa, Mark. I'm definitely going to do a show in South Africa. The amount of people who've messaged me about it. Yeah, I definitely intend to do a show in South Africa. But the first 3 are up on the community tab at the moment. If you want to check it out, you can get your tickets. Get your tickets. Really excited about that. But I was just going to have a quick look at something here. I forgot what it was. I can't remember what it was. Fimble says, we never do a transfer this season beside the loan move. I honestly feel the board is either saving up for the next transfer window and then add funds. Look, as I say, we might not be buying players in January because there's no money. There might be no money because the Glazers don't want to spend any money because they're selling the club. That's one reason. Or there might be no money because it's true that we've messed up on financial fair play. But if we've messed up on financial fair play, we haven't, Ten Hag hasn't, it's the Prats who do the transfers. How you can spend... imagine it's true, United can't spend any money in January because they've got nothing left. Because they spent it all in the summer. What business spends its budget for the year ahead in the first month? It's absolutely catastrophic. It's ridiculous. I mean, even if you're somebody who runs a household and you spend all your money on the Monday and you've got no more money until the following Monday, the things that could happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that means you need money, but you've spent it all on the Monday. This is what I mean about the way the club is run. And there was an article at the weekend trying to say out that United's recruitment's done a good job. Was it Martin Samuel or somebody? Somebody said some journalist wrote an article at the weekend about how United have done a good job on recruitment. We haven't done a good job on recruitment. Erik Ten Hag has identified good players to bring in. The way we brought them in financially is ridiculous. Casemiro was late. Anthony was expensive, nearly 50% expensive more than he should have been. Gave him a pay rise from 20 grand a week to 200k a week. I mean, Martinez cost too much. Don't know what his wages are. Ericsson was a good deal. Malacia was a good deal. But Martinez, Casemiro and Anthony, 2 of those deals, we'd already played 3 games. So the recruitment wasn't good. And the recruitment was very bad because he also wanted Gakpo and there was no money left in the summer. And there's no money in January as well. So, yeah. Will you do Birmingham in the future? We are the biggest supported club round here, mate, says Paul. We were meant to be doing Birmingham, Paul, and we were going to do Birmingham within those 2 weeks, but we couldn't find a location. So Birmingham was that close. So Birmingham will happen, definitely. But we just couldn't get the location that we wanted. We were offered a location in Digbeth, and it was bloody mile. I know Birmingham very well, so we were offered a location in Digbeth, and I said no. And they were like, why? And I said, because I know Birmingham, and that's not near trains or anything like that. That's into Birmingham, then people have got to come across an industrial estate. So I said no to that. So we're holding out. We want to get good locations. Like the Dublin one is right on the River Liffey, right in the middle of Dublin. Like somebody I know did a show last year, and it was like half an hour outside Dublin. That's not Dublin. You want people to be able to come into Dublin, stay in Dublin, go out, and then go to the show. So, yeah, we're just trying to find good locations to do it. Probably need some people's help with South Africa and India when we do that. Will Sancho leave in the summer? No, I don't think so. And Tom says, what about Nottingham? Mark, you used to live there. I don't know. I haven't been into Nottingham City Centre for about 20 years. Susan says, we spent lots of money, but we haven't done it well. Let's hope the new owners are better at it. Thank you very much, Susan. And combine South Africa with Kenya. Huge fan base here, says Ernest. Okay. A reminder, if you are a member of the channel, the tickets are available for you for the next 2 days before they go out to everybody. Community tab, there's a members post there with all the details. I think people have bought tickets already. Very excited about it. On Friday, they'll be out for everybody. So really excited about that. Check it out. Opinions on the Aventus situation, says Iz. Well, my opinions on that is that you can take advantage of it if you want to take advantage of it. I haven't heard or seen anything that United do want to take advantage of it. We spoke about Gravenberch yesterday. Bayern Munich have now come out and said there's absolutely no chance of that happening. But, you know, I don't believe clubs when they say that. He's not playing football. If you present a good opportunity, you never know. But you've got to be good at negotiating. Joshua says, I'm a bit nervous for tonight's game for some reason. I want to feel old, Mark. I want to feel old, Mark. 28 years to the day since the... want to feel old, Mark. 28 years to the day since the Cantona kick. I do feel old now. Because I was at secondary school having massive arguments the morning after that. I remember that. So Cantona jumped into the crowd and kicked a fan. The next day I had English literature. And everybody in the class was going against him. And I stood up and said... Well, I put my hand up and then I said, you lot make me sick. Because you are criticising a professional sportsman for attacking a fan. He's not a politician. He's been sent off and he's got somebody shouting and screaming abuse about his family and kids. And he's attacked him. Shouldn't have done it. He'll pay the price for it. But let's not pretend that footballers get paid money to, you know, behave perfectly. They get paid money to play football. That bloke crossed the line. Cantona crossed the line. But let's not forget he was provoked. And nobody really had a comeback to that other than, you shouldn't do that. I said, I didn't say he should have done it. I'm just saying, you're acting like he should be some sort of fucking role model. He's a footballer. He's a footballer who somebody has, you know, lit the touch paper. Morning, Mark. Got my tickets for Manchester. Really excited, says Natalie. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Anyway, look, lots to get involved with. We've got the watch-along tonight. What else have we got? We've got the watch-along, the road trip. Obviously, we'll react if anything else goes live. If you want to know about the full sale of Man United, we've already done that. We did it last night. I know a lot of people are doing it this morning. Been there, done that. It's already on the show. Don't forget the tickets on the community tab if you're a member. Yeah, match tonight. I don't know. My laptop wants to take off as well. I don't know what's wrong with it, so I need to fix that. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you all in a bit. I've got a video going up on That's Football in a little bit as well. And thanks, everyone. Speak to you all in a bit. Twitch at 3 o'clock. Yes. Man United career mode was brilliant yesterday. That penalty shootout was amazing. Amazing. If you want to watch that back, it's on Twitch and we're live again at 3. Speak to you in a bit.